You know what I'm saying? I feel bad about it. I saw the video, and it really, really broke my heart. And this has been going on since we've been in this country. And obviously coming from the top, like Reverend Al said on yesterday, coming from the top is something that they think that is okay. And I don't know if y'all seen the video of Ahmaud Arbery being killed while jogging. The attorneys in his case, Ben Crump and Lee Merritt, is here with us this morning. National Civil Rights and Personal Injury lawyers Ben Crump and Lee Merritt are representing the families of Ahmaud Arbery. And, Ahmaud Arbery is a Georgia man who was chased down and killed by two white men while jogging. Hey, good morning, man. How y'all doing this morning? Ben and Lee Merritt, good morning.
Hey, good morning, bro. How are you?
What's up with the bros? Y'all good?
Hey, we good. It's good to have those fingers leading the forefront.
Yeah. Hey, listen, man. I don't know what to say. I don't know where to start. What made them? I guess the question that I have: what made them follow him down? And what made them, even when they followed him, and confronting him, why did they kill him?
We can tell you what they have said. Oh, I'm sorry, Brother Ben. We can tell you what they have said, but it doesn't really line up with the evidence, right? So what they said was that they believed that this man had committed a crime and that they were performing a citizen's arrest. Now, that was a recent invention. That's not what they said to law enforcement initially. What this family was told when they learned, the day they learned about Ahmaud's murder, was that Ahmaud was participating in a burglary. And during the course of the burglary, the homeowner shot him to death. Well, this video shows that is obviously not true. Ahmaud was jogging down the road. And the only evidence, the only calls made to 911 was that there was a black man jogging down the road that we believe that he's somehow committed a crime. When the 911 operator said, what crime has he committed? They said, well, he's running down a road. And we saw him looking into some houses that were under construction. And so they decided to impute criminality on this black jogger, 25-year-old All-American standout athlete from South Georgia, who ran every day. They decided to make him a criminal and that they would take the law in their own hands. That's by definition what a vigilante is. And they killed him.
So Ben, so how did this stand your ground law is going to come into play with this? Is it the same case as what happened with Trayvon Martin?
There are a lot of similarities, Ricky, and what they're trying to argue right now is this asinine law in Georgia that says citizens who witness a crime can take the law in their own hands. As Lee just said, there's absolutely no crime that they observed, so it's just trying to justify the unjustifiable. As his father said, if the shoe was on the other foot and this was Ahmaud and him in a truck with guns chasing a young white man in broad daylight, there is no doubt they would have been arrested. And so he just thinks with his mother that it's completely unfair that they don't get to enjoy their son while this guy still gets to enjoy his son, and especially coming up on Friday when he would have turned 26 years old, they now have to celebrate his life without him being in this world.
Right. But for everybody that's outside of the state, could you give us an idea of what kind of town Brunswick, Georgia is?
Well, I know it too well. Lee, being from Florida, we're only about 3 hours away from Brunswick, Georgia. It's a lot like a lot of the towns in Alabama, the smaller towns in Texas, where Lee's from. You have a very diverse community because there are a lot of black people in Brunswick. Unfortunately, the county is all ran by white people, and thus you see them trying to do what they have always done.
Wow.
And it's worth saying, brother, that it's from the legal community perspective, this town is very close to one of the suspects, Gregory McMichael, who was a 30-year lawman in South Georgia. He worked for the local police department that would have been responsible for arresting him. He worked for the local district attorney who would have been responsible for charging him. And as a result, this case has been bounced around South Georgia looking for someone who is willing to prosecute these white men, and no one has stepped up and made an arrest yet.
So do we have any idea who provided the video footage that came out? Is there anything being done to get that witness to come forward?
We believe that he was one of the participants. Yeah, sorry. We believe that he was one of the participants in what I'm referring to as this lynch posse. We think this was one of the community members that was called to come track this young man down.
Right.
Yeah. And Ricky, let me say this. These guys had a shotgun and a .357. They jumped in a truck and started chasing this young black man who was jogging. He didn't have any bag or burglary tools, anything. He was just jogging with shorts and a T-shirt. And so they got a .357 and a shotgun to go confront somebody. That's what you use. A shotgun is what they have when an elephant breaks loose and you want to put them down. I believe they went out there, as well do Lee, with nefarious intent that they were going to take this black man out if he did not completely obey their word. And I think that's what happened.
Yeah, white supremacy at its best. One of the murder suspects is a former police officer. And, you got the first question I had. The first question is, what other challenges do you see in getting justice for Ahmaud? And then the other one, 3 different prosecutors. Why have there been 3 different prosecutors on this case?
Okay. And so one of the major obstacles that we see here actually has something to do with COVID-19. The state of Georgia has suspended the grand jury process. Grand juries are what are impaneled to indict criminal suspects in most jurisdictions. However, that is just one option for indictment. In other words, in order to get these men formally charged, generally you need a grand jury. But if there is sufficient evidence, the district attorney can do what's called a direct indictment and skip the grand jury process. Because the grand jury will be suspended until mid-June here, we think that that's appropriate, that either the district attorney, Tom Durden, should issue an arrest warrant and have these men picked up, or the Glenn County Police Department can do it independently.
So they just out and kicking it and nothing. Nothing right now.
Yeah,
it's tragic because we have to do so much just for simple justice. If this was on the other foot, I can't stress this enough. They would have arrested Ahmaud and his father. And so in these challenging times of the COVID-19 crisis, Lee and I were talking about, Brother Smiley, we have to figure out ways to be innovative because we don't want people getting in close proximity to one another and causing people to get infected with the virus. But we have to be innovative and creative to let people know that we are protesting in our hearts and our homes for Ahmaud to get justice. And so that means if we have to have everybody calling the DA, if we have to be online flooding them with emails to say, you can arrest him. You have the power to arrest him. You have ocular proof. You have this video. What is the delay? Because June 12th, you know how many things are going to happen in America by that time? They are hoping that people will forget about it.
Oh, no, we're not going to forget about it.
And we're encouraging everyone to go to runwithmaud.com. That's run with MAUD. Maud is what Ahmaud Arbery's friends called him in the community. It's a collection of activists and family members and friends who have come up with action steps for the community to take all over the country. Runwithmaud.com.
You know what's really sad? Hey, Lee and Ben, you know what was really sad? It was really sad is white silence. You got white people that's not racist and seem to love everybody, but would sit silent in something like this. And that's a real big problem. Because if I'm coming out of a department store and I see a woman getting raped on the ground and I do nothing, then that make me just as guilty as a man that's raping her. It's wrong.
That's
and
right.
You see it's wrong. And when, if everybody get out and protest stuff like this and protest people like this or whatever, the district attorney, judges, or whatever, people will start to get a sense that the community, white and black, don't like this stuff. You understand what I'm saying? And this stuff will not be tolerated.
You know, Ricky, it reminds you of what Dr. King said. You can't call yourself moral. You can't call yourself a good person if you see evil and turn the other way. But when you watch that video, you see evil. And for all of them who turn the other way, they can't call themselves good people.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. Hey, National Civil Rights and Personal Injury Lawyers Ben Crump and Lee Merritt, thank y'all so much, man, for joining us. I really appreciate it, man. Love y'all. And keep doing what you're doing. And come on the show anytime. We're going to keep talking about this, man.
All right. Thanks a lot,
Thank you so much, Brother Smiley.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Chicken and Waffle Mix up next, 25 before the top of the hour. Rick Smiley Morning Show.